everyone, happy holidays and happy new year. At the beginning of this year, I decided to declutter my cosmetics and get rid of some of my foundations, highlighters, blushes, eyeshadows, and lipsticks. In this video, I'm going to also include my brief overview and comments towards those products. So let's see. So the first part is the concealers and foundations. And because of the liquid texture and the formula, usually it's good for only 6 to 12 months after you open it or started to use it. Today, the first one to be decluttered is this Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer. And as you can see through the camera already, this guy actually is separated into different colors. The upper part is like a more white color, and the bottom one is more like the orangey color. So usually it's supposed to be like more homogeneous bottle or homogeneous vial, but this one obviously tells me already that it's no longer good. Something bad already happened to the formula, so it's not safe to use anymore. So when you see this separation of the colors, that's a good sign to tell you it's time to dispose this product. Okay. Moving on to my foundations. Today we have a lot of products to go. The first one, I guess, is it's right here. It's hiding behind this spinner. So the first one to go is this Gucci Natural Finish Fluid Foundation. As you maybe see through the camera already, this formula has a very bad chemicals inside, so that you can see the good separation of the oily parts or the watery parts versus the solid content. Right. Usually in each foundation, it has more the watery content versus the more solid or oily content. It's okay to kind of shake it well before each use, but when you see clearly the separation of those oil layer versus the solid layer, that's a sign to tell you the formula has some decomposition, so it will no longer be safe to use it onto your skin. Even though like you shake it and you kind of feel it doesn't have the visible difference on your skin, but then it can cause the skin allergy or even breakouts, which is quite scary, right? So I am okay to use their blush and lipstick, but in terms of the liquid foundation, I'm not impressed at all for their manufacturer or their choice of the products. So that's too bad. And another crappy manufacturer comes from Dior liquid foundation. This Forever Skin Glow somehow is very hard to use. Once you put this onto your skin, it immediately causes the cakey and cracky look. And I tried a couple of different combo of the moisturizer or the primer, but none of them work well with this Dior foundation. So it's surprisingly bad or hard to use. Even though it's kind of like it's not cheap at all, but somehow it's you can see that maybe after 2 or 3 uses, it already has that clear separation of the liquid products versus the solid content, which is bad. So yeah, once you have that in your cosmetic drawer, you can already feel confident to dispose it or kind of dump it already. Another foundation to get rid of is the Barepro liquid foundation. So this one is a super good foundation and formula, especially when you have the sensitive skin and oily skin type. And this one can really help settle down the formula onto your skin and have a long performance wear for a good 12 hours or so. But the reason why I need to get rid of this is because my skin type kind of changed into the combination / dry, so I don't have that oily type of the skin texture anymore. So that's where once I put this formulation on, it kind of make my cheek especially dry, so I stopped using it for a while. That's where I feel that given the short shelf life of this foundation, I need to get rid of that. It's a shame that I don't use that as often as I used to. So another product to go is this M.A.C Studio Radiance Sheer Foundation. This one is good since it's very cost effective. It has 1.7 fluid ounce of the volume, working for both your face and your neck and body. So it's very cost efficient and it has a good formula which is setting nicely on your skin. But the only thing is that I have so many other good formula, and the liquid foundation, that's pretty much my go-to foundation, so I don't use these guys as often. And the reason why I bought 2 different shades is because when I see those colors online, I don't know which one actually fits my skin color or complexion better. So that's where I bought both the warm W0 and the C0, which is the I guess the fairest color for both the cool tone and the warm tone. So I guess given the shelf life for this one is quite long. It actually says 24 months after you open it or first use it. So I think this one, these two guys haven't expired per se, but it's just like I feel that in the foreseeable future, I wouldn't use them as often as I should. So most likely they're gonna just sit and collect the dust. So that's where I feel like I should still get rid of them. Okay. Moving on to my other foundation and concealers to be dumped. This Khloé Depot concealer stick, I think it's expired as well. So this stick is actually the old version of that broad spectrum concealer, and it has a SPF factor of 25 here as well, which is good for the skin protection against the UV light. And this shade is Ivory. So for some reason, I don't like this concealer very much, simply because regardless of the thick texture of this concealer stick, it doesn't provide a good enough coverage to conceal all this blemish or the dark circle, so which is surprise. And also for this concealer, it's expensive. I think this single stick is like costing 70 to 80-ish US dollars. And it's only having a small volume of 5 gram or 0.17 ounce of weight. So it's not very cost effective, and it's not doing the job as it's supposed to do. So it's not providing a good enough coverage per se. So I'm gonna dump this. I also need to dispose this Tom Ford Traceless foundation stick. This foundation stick, I think it's good as it has a medium to high coverage. But the one problem with this stick is that the shade, I think I purchased the wrong shade. So as you can see, if you just kind of like eyeball it, seems like the shade is very consistent or close to my complexion color. But somehow when I apply this onto my face, maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, it kind of oxidized a little bit, so that the actual shade looks a little bit darker than it appears, by its own. So somehow I think the actual color or the shade is more like the pinkish, more fitting to the cool tone or the cold skin tone, rather than, for me, like I'm having more of a neutral skin tone. So that's where, I don't use this foundation stick as often. But honestly, I think I like this formula and the coverage as well. And I purchased it as like 50% off the original price. So I think given that the discount price, that's actually very cost effective. If I purchase the right shade, honestly, I would love to finish or like hit pan for this foundation stick. But unfortunately, I just made the wrong choice by just looking at the color. So that's a shame. Moving on to the next product. This one is also from the higher-end manufacturer Maquillage. That's a Japanese brand. And this guy is called Dramatic Essence Liquid Foundation. So this foundation comes with a SPF factor of 50. So it's a high protection for your skin against the photoaging, which is good. But the only reason that I don't use this guy too often is because, number one, you can see that it also has kind of the separation of the layers and give you a separation of the colors throughout the whole vial, which tells you something goes wrong with the chemical component inside, which is bad for further use, to be honest. And secondly is that I think that's a caveat for a lot of Japanese foundation, is that they have only 5 or 6 different shades, so it's not going to cover a diverse complexion colors for like global users. So which I think is a probably the biggest limitation or caveat for a lot of Japanese brand. But this guy, it provides I guess high coverage for the skin blemish. So if you choose the right shade, obviously that's going to be your go-to foundation. But unfortunately, this one, even I choose the lightest or fairest shade, when I apply it onto my skin, it still looks darker than my actual skin color. So that's something that I really don't like. So that's why after 2 or 3 times of use, I stopped trying that anymore. So it's not adding any beauty or value to my outlook. So that's why I need to dump it. Yeah. And moving on to the next product, which is Guerlain L'Essential High Perfection 24-Hour Wear of the Liquid Foundation. This foundation comes with a lower SPF factor of 15, and somehow I don't like the formula because I think something is weird about this formula, and not sure if it's expired or there's something more like fundamental underlying reason behind the formula itself. But somehow, it's not working quite well for my combination dry skin type. So it may be the best option for the oily skin because it's kind of sucking up all your moisture layer on your skin. So, but somehow this one is not definitely not the best formula, best foundation for the dry skin type or even the combination dry skin type. That's too bad. I really like the design of this bottle because I think it looks like the perfume kind of bottle and it's really cute. But unfortunately, something's weird about the formula itself. So it doesn't work as the liquid foundation per se, and it's definitely not fitting my skin type. So that's where I have to, I guess, waste it and dump it. Moving on to the next product, which is this Decorte Sun Shelter, which is a tune-up CC cream for the tinted UV primer. So I like this product because it has a SPF factor of 50, which gives sufficient protection against the UV light. And also the tinted CC cream gives a high coverage onto my face. So sometimes I use it as a combination of both primer and the foundation. So it actually, it's kind of 2-in-1. It's very convenient to use. Wow. And also after one simple application, it can provide a long-lasting matte effect onto my face. So this is a great product. So the reason why I purchased 2 different shades, as you can see, on the left side, it has the purplish or pinkish shade in the tinted cream, and the other is more like the neutral or the warm tone. So actually, after I tried out both, I like this warm tone better, because as you know, it kind of fits better to my complexion color. So that's where, you know, I stopped using this pinkish or the cool tone kind of CC cream. So that's where I need to get rid of this. I'm still gonna keep it because I just opened this like 3-4 months ago, so I think it's still within this shelf life. And the last foundation product that I need to get rid of is this setting powder. Comes from the higher end Japanese brand Elegance. So for this elegance setting powder, I really love this product simply because it looks so pretty. As you can see, it's like petal kind of a pattern, and also it combines different color to give you a natural and long-lasting effect towards your face. So it's more like the matte finish kind of veil after the foundation layer. So this one is really pretty and good to use. It also comes with a large net volume, so it's 27 gram of the net weight. So it's more like the family size type of volume. And as you can see, I almost hit pan. So I can say I finished half of this, which is a big win already, right? I'm not wasting too much of the money. For this product, I can spend $150 on this, so it's quite expensive. And this Elegance brand is the very high end of the Japanese cosmetic product. So actually, everything out of that brand is very expensive. And but this is good quality stuff, right? So I think it's worth the money. And since I already finished half of that, I think it's very cost effective. And because I like this product, I also purchased the same product but different shade. And this shade, you can see it comes with different combo of the color. So this one is more like the kind of for the neutral tone versus the previous one is more for the cool tone. Okay, so this shade number 4 works the best for the oily skin type and the combination / oil type of skin type versus this newer one works the best for the dry skin type and the combination dry skin type. So this is actually fitting me better now. So that's where I decided to keep this shade number 6 and dump the previous shade number 4. Next, I'm going to go through the decluttering of my highlighters and blushers. Usually, I love to use blushers very much. I think that's the most important part of my full face makeup. And I don't use highlighters or the contour products as often. So definitely, I'm having more blushers than highlighters. So in this case, I'm going to go through the decluttering of the highlighters first, since I definitely have, it's easier to go through the fewer items, of course. So let's see. The first highlighter that I'm going to get rid of is this Natasha Denona, the highlighter and the blush 2-in-1. So this one is really classic, and I like the shade very much. It has this champagne highlighter as well as this flamingo pink blushers. So this one comes with the 4 gram for each. And it's super small, and it's like half of my palm size, so it's easy to carry around. I used to love it and travel with this 2-in-1 blushers a lot, but this one is like 5 years old, expired, so I don't use it anymore per se. So. And another 3 blushers to go is coming from Jouer. I like this brand a lot since I think they manufacture the clean beauty, and their foundations, eyeshadows are my favorite. So I think I purchased this 3-in-1 set like 5 years ago, and this set includes 3 different shades. It includes the citrine, which is this champagne kind of like highlighter. And it also includes my favorite color, which is called Rose Quartz, which is like this pinkish highlighter and blusher. And there's another shade called Topaz, which is fitting for the darker complexion. But this one is pretty as well. I liked this Jouer brand a lot because I think they manufacture the quality cosmetic products, and especially for these highlighters, they have the super fine powder quality, and they are very pigmented. So I like to use them previously, but unfortunately I have too many similar products, and I stopped using them for a while, and then before I realized they expired already. And the easiest sign you can see or tell is that, you know, if you can see through the surface of this highlight powder, it becomes uneven, and there are more like the breakout kind of bubbles. So that's something like to tell you that there may be some germ colony forming and growing over there, so that's no good to apply onto your face anymore. Next, I'm gonna dump this Glossier Cloud Paint blushers. This product was super popular 2 or 3 years back, and I purchased 4 different shades out of the same Cloud Paint blusher, including this Storm, Haze, and I believe 2 other shades, and I dumped that 2 other shades during my cruise trip, and today I'm gonna dump the rest of this Glossier. So you can see that this blusher comes in a very small tube, and it's more like the toothpaste kind of tube, but it's in the travel size, so it's easy to travel with. But unfortunately, as you can see, I barely use these 2 shades, so I guess you could say that's a waste of the money. But basically, that's what the YouTubers are doing these days. So it's just like test out the different products so that it saves money for the audience. I would say this Cloud Paint is a nice cheek color or blusher, but it's just like I purchased too many of the same product line, so it's not using every single color sufficiently. So that's a shame. But these are good stuff. Okay. Then I'm gonna dispose these 2 blushers coming from the brand name Maquillage under Shiseido. So I purchased these 2 blushers like 9 years ago when I first started to do the makeup, and you can see that these 2 shades are really classic and pretty. It's one is covering the cool tone, more like the pinkish or purplish in color, and the other is more like a warm tone, and it's in the almond or apricot color. So these 2 shades actually is super useful and helpful to cover all of your outfit color and different scenarios and occasions. So I would say the suggestion is that moving forward, just to choose one cool tone and one warm tone. That's pretty much going to be useful for all kinds of scenarios, right? You don't have to waste your money on every single shade, but rather just choose either the pinkish and or the apricot kind of colors. That's usually good enough. Okay. These 2 are both 9 years of age. They expired, obviously, and they are to me more of a sentimental value rather than practical value. But you can see these 2 are of high quality in terms of the powder grade as well as the color combination. I preserved these 2 palettes so well that you can see that none of these palette surface have any bacteria growth. So everything is kind of preserved nicely, and it seems to be still ready to use. But obviously, I'm not going to use it anymore since it's already like extending its shelf life already, right? It's not always easy to say goodbye, but I know it's time. So I'm gonna get rid of this Suqqu blusher. And so this Suqqu Shimmer Liquid Blush is my favorite formula. This shade is 104, which is a limited edition. Previously, I already disposed another limited edition under the same Suqqu Liquid Blush, which is the shade 101. I think that's a limited edition with the purple or the lavender kind of like shade, which is super rare and pretty. So after I dispose that one, I barely find any similar products or even comparable products on the market. So that's a shame, right? Once you dispose some of the good product, you cannot even find the counterparts that's competing in the same quality. So this guy is 5 years old, so I think I need to dispose that because for the liquid product, usually it has even shorter shelf life than the powdered kind of dried cosmetic products, right? So I think this one is already stretching its shelf life already. Okay, so I need to dispose it today. Another 3 products to go is from this Clinique Cheek Pop Blush Pop. So you see these products are very easy to use, and I believe there are many reviews and good comments towards this blush pop already online. So today I'm going to dispose 3 shades, which is the shade 12 Pink Pop, the shade 2 Peach Pop, and the shade 8 Melon Pop. So I love this Clinique blush a lot, and I purchased them 4 or 5 years ago, and I use them a lot. You can see each one of them is already coming off the pan. So and you can see that, you know, the surface kind of like get a lot of scratch sign, which means I used to use them very, very often. And you can see that the colors are pretty. Each one of the pop is in the flower shape, so which looks nice and cute. And this one is my all-time favorite shade, which is Melon Pop. It gives you such a natural and pretty look with a matte finish. So this is especially good for the summer times, actually. And moving on, I also need to dispose some of the relatively cheaper products. For example, this guy's coming from Milani brand, and I used to love this brand a lot, especially for those floral baked powder blush. These are quite popular, I guess, among those YouTubers and the users. So basically, you can see I purchased the 3 different shades with the same products, right? So I got the Blossom Time Rose and the Tea Rose, as well as this Coral Cove. So I love this tea rose a lot. I use this quite often, and the center of these flowers are already flat because I just use a brush to scratch it back and forth. So that's where you can see this wear and tear sign the most from this shade. And because you know, this one is already like what 5 years of age, you can already see the crack line in the center of this blush palette. So that's a sign to tell you that you know, because you know it kind of loses the moisture level or the water level, so that it no longer holds the shape as it was manufactured. So that is where, you know, you can also tell the tell from the outlook that you can already feel confident to dispose this. Okay. So each of these blush palette cost only $7 US, and it comes with super fine particle powder, and the it will give a super natural looking on your face. So given the price and the quality, I would say this is a go, and it's definitely worth money. This Milani highlighter also has to go just because it's already 5 years of age. So this one, I like it a lot. I used to have it like every day. And this highlighters is super pigmented, and it gives you instant glow once you apply just a little bit onto your cheek or your nose. So this one is just, yeah, unreal given the price. Yeah, but I have to dispose it, unfortunately. Next, I'm going to dispose a lot of the Kiko Milano products, both highlighters and blushers. For example, this one is the limited edition Tuscan Sunshine blusher, and the highlighters 2-in-1. And you can see this one, it smells really good. It smells like the iris flowers, and it has that iris flowers pattern onto the palette as well. So I like the imprint and the design. But this one is also like 4 years old already. So I think, you know, it says like you have to dispose it 3 years after you open it. So I guess probably it's time. Yeah, but I really enjoy the smell, the good scent, and the quality of this blusher. Also, this Kiko Milano limited edition was designed for the Valentine's Day, I think 4 years ago when I purchased that. So I think that, you know, you can see that it's actually 2-in-1. It has the matte finish of the blusher as well as the blusher highlighter type of the pinkish glow. So this one is super practical to use. It says hard is art, which is deep philosophy here. But given the shelf life, I guess I have to dispose it. It's only good for 12 months, so it's relatively short. Also, a bunch of other blushers coming from the same brand, Kiko. By the way, I love the quality of the Kiko cosmetics. It used to be the cosmetic products for the Armani brand when they do the annual show, but ever since Armani developed its own cosmetic makeup line, they stopped using the Kiko. So that is telling you that the Kiko manufactured the good stuff, right? So I'm going to dispose of a couple of similar blushers, like this gradient blusher. As you can see, those type of gradient blushers are similar in the idea. It combines different shade in the gradient look, so that you can either use each of the shade alone or kind of combine by swiping across this whole palette, which gives you a more diverse or broad spectrum of the color onto your face to create different colors, so that you kind of like have it make you feel like you have more than one blusher by just you know, creating that gradient look. So these are one of them. I purchased I think 3 different shades, shade number 3, 6, and 4. And usually it's just me, my preference is usually this cool tone type of gradient look or the single color blusher. So you can see that this one can easily give you either a lighter or bolder look in the cool tone, of course. So it's just choose different combo of the shade, of the colors, and that's covering a lot of various blusher look, and to fit your outfit as well. So that is pretty much the Kiko blusher. Oh, there's one more. This is like the single shades, the Smart Blush. And this one doesn't have the mirrors in it. So this one is more like coral in color. So this one, I guess I wouldn't use it as much. So it's better off to just dispose them rather than let it sit there and take space without being used. That's sad as well, right? And this BECCA and Khloé Malika palette also has to go simply because the shades here are just too dark for my complexion color, so I'm not going to use it. However long it's going to stand or stay in my drawer, so that's a waste per se. But this one has highlighters, blushers, as well as a bronzer, kind of 4-in-1. So I would say this one is, I guess, very convenient if you purchase the right shade. But obviously, it's just too dark for me to use, so I'm going to dispose it, which is a waste. I guess today we spent a lot of time covering the decluttering of the blushers, highlighters, and foundation products. So I'm gonna probably split the decluttering of the eyeshadows and lipsticks in my next video. So this is just typically the case for the earlier chaos for each at the beginning of each year, and we do a lot of cleanup so that we're ready for the new products. That's more like the deja vu or kind of the life cycle of each of the makeup channel, right? So we just purchase a lot of things, but waste a lot of things so that my audience didn't have to waste their money or resources or time, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and get some helpful information out of all my decluttered products. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.